Hello, my loves, and welcome to this message. It's good to see you again. Or, if you're new here, it's good to welcome you in this space. And yeah, just let me give you a little heads up. My readings are usually a bit of a journey. So, yeah, get ready to dive deep and to explore. Yeah, I think that's it. With that being said, let's start. And if you're ready, let's see what wants to come through. First thing I noticed when I just started to prepare for this reading is that there was the need for a reset. I completely, I very thoroughly reshuffled my cards, refilled my water bottle, cleared my energy out. So there was this whole process of, okay, let's just spring clean, I hear. Yeah. Sorry, just had to take a sip of water. Okay, spring clean energy. Where do we start? We start with the Oracle decks. Yeah, sometimes when we are like doing spring cleaning, like it feels good to clean out, but it also feels a little funky at the beginning. Like it's like when you set up or when you rearrange the furniture, right? It's like at the beginning you're a bit like, do I like it? Is it better that way? I'm not too sure. Maybe I should just change it all back to how it was. But then if you leave it and you live with it for a while, after a few days, you're starting to, no, actually, I think I kind of like it. And then a little more time passes and you're like, how could I ever live in a different way? The couch goes so much better over there. And I really don't know what I was thinking to put the bookshelf in that corner earlier. So yeah, that's the kind of energy I'm getting. Oops. And the bottom of the deck as well. Alrighty. Everything in reversed. Okay. Actually, the bottom of the deck was in reverse as well, but I'm not reading that in reverse because it's more like the archetypal overall energy or underlying energy. Overlying or underlying? Oh, it goes both ways. Okay, so this is why they are upside down. Everything is turned on its head, or so it seems. Okay, now that I'm looking at them, I'm realizing that all three cards came up in recent readings, but in different readings, as far as I can remember. I don't really remember where they were, I just know that they showed up. So it's kind of like all the things that were happening before, like all the processes that you went through, there are those elements that came with you, even now after the reset, after I completely reshuffled the decks, and like you saw how I split them. I split it in three randomly, and still those three cards came out. So like there's something coming with you from your old, like from before the spring clean. And so the message I posted yesterday, like the message I posted on Thursday, because this is coming out on Friday. So the message for Thursday is about pretty much that reset energy. So it's about like being in that suspended period where things can, like, it's a needed rest, and from that the new thing can emerge. And what's coming out, and it's also interesting because in that reading they brought me to the back of the deck, and it showed me like this mirrored energy, and it was the thing about as within so without, as above so below. And this is what this is speaking to me about. Like, yes, there are things from your old life or from the whatever it was before, like your spring clean, if it's like a complete huge cycle that's been closed out, or if it can also be like a smaller thing. It really depends on like where you are right now, where you're at right now. Whatever it was that you transitioned into, you brought something with you, but it's not the same anymore. It's pretty much turned on its head. It's mirrored like this. And this will cause confusion. Because suddenly, like, even signs you got before, like, or your way of communicating with maybe the divine, maybe if you communicate with spirit guides, or just like the way you work with your intuition, or it's not only that, it's also like communication in a general sense, like with maybe people you were in contact with, or like any kind of relationship, maybe relationships you had to interests of yours. I don't know if you like to read, and maybe you were like interested in reading, I don't know, crime novels, and now you find that you're still interested in reading, and maybe even like things that are like related to, like, that are still like crime novels, but like in a slightly different way. I get something like about like mystery. This is just a random example, really. Or maybe even taking a step further. Oh, that's interesting. Maybe you're starting to write your own novels. You're not just reading them, but you're writing them now, and you're writing them like, yeah, you're taking that passion for crime novels, but you're kind of implementing something else in a very creative way, and then it suddenly turns into like this mystery crime novel with, I don't know, some really interesting philosophy background in there. Again, I don't know. That's what I'm getting. Maybe someone is writing that. Sounds exciting. Sounds intriguing. All right. So yeah, whatever, like the relationships that you had and the way you were kind of communicating. So, okay, so the way the story, like if you keep with the novel example, the way you were communicating with the genre of stories was you were reading it, you were taking it in. But now suddenly you become the creator. You are writing the story, and you're writing your own story, your own version of it. So it's turned on its head. And this is very much at the core. So this will stand out to you the most. How your communication or your relationship to things has changed. The No Place Like Home card. Okay, so this is very directly speaking to me about that. Maybe there's something about like you're moving, or you're changing your way of living. there's something about uprooting and turning your life on its head in a pretty radical way that it feels like it. And well, maybe it's really just about rearranging the furniture. If you're doing it like in a smaller way, it could be possible. It doesn't always have to be like the big radical thing. Or maybe that is just like preparing you for something greater happening down the line. But for some of you, it really feels like you are uprooting your life and you are like, I don't know, going to move, or like I recently did it. I used to live like in an apartment, and just about like a month ago or 2 months ago, I like my lease was up, so I decided to not rent a new one, but to pretty much give most of my stuff away. Keep a few boxes, put them in storage, and pack my bags. And now I'm traveling, and I don't know for how long. And I love it. It's great, but it's different. I pretty much uprooted my entire life. So yeah, I know what I'm talking about here. Anyways, right. And what you find while doing that is, and I'm being drawn to this here. It's again like it's this face with the spiral in it. And like there's no place like home. We are suddenly realizing what home really is to us. The question is it a place? Is it a house? Is it a person? Or is it something else? I'm not going to give you the answer to that, because this is something that you need to find out for yourself, what home actually is. Just to say this much, it usually is not something outside of ourselves. Like if we manage to find the thing inside of ourselves that feels like home to us, we actually come home. And it doesn't matter where we're living or with who we are living. We're always home. So, yeah, that's turned on its head. And deep knowing, what we thought we knew is okay. So there's something about a Renaissance. Like the Renaissance period was when what people believed to be true for about like, let's say like about the period of like 1,000 years, what we call the Middle Ages, medieval times, that changed through the period of the Renaissance, and the classic thinkers were revived. Ancient knowledge was coming back. And so, like, yeah, things people thought were true, in many ways, like more of a very religious way of thinking. Sorry for the pause there. I just got something. I feel like there's a bit of a warning coming with that. Okay, it can go both ways. So because I was speaking about the Renaissance, it was very much about, like before that, there was a very magical and religious mindset. And like I said, like all the knowledge they had from the classical period, from like the old Romans and Egyptians and Greeks, was lost to some degree, not entirely, but a lot was lost, a lot of knowledge and wisdom. And it was revisited by those scholars from the Renaissance. But then they were going like into the other extreme, and it was really like all about the mind. So, and like less about how, like there was less value placed on emotions, religion, or like spirituality. Religion, yes, but more like sensitive spiritual aspects got like, or let's say like more magical approaches, I like to call them like more magical, got lost. And like I said, like it was like what was valued was a very clear and more, I hear like be sensible, like the logical mind got overly emphasized. And there's like suddenly there's like so much noise out there. So that was speaking to me about, yeah, like an imbalance, like a tipping towards the logical mind. And yeah, like I said, like it can go both ways. So Renaissance could also be like the Renaissance of a more magical approach, of a more spiritual approach, of a like more artistic approach, leaning more towards the feminine energy. And what is being emphasized here is that it's, and I'm seeing like, you know, like with the moon and the owl, and I mean, those are kind of pretty much like feminine energies in general. But still, like the owl has also an energy of the mind and like wisdom and cleverness about it. So I do see like a more balanced approach. It's yeah, the marriage of both. So it's not just one or the other, but it's like the marriage of both. And so there's something about like to identify what was more present in your life, or what is more present in your life. So are you like more leaning towards, and we're never just like one thing, right? But are you leaning more towards masculine, like more the mind, more the logical approach to life, or are you more like on the feminine, more emotional, intuitive approach to life? And there's the thing about like, well, with this reset, you are balancing it out. There's like an integration of the other one, and like a rediscovery of the other polarity. Like I can share again from my own life. I am more leaning towards the feminine energy, and I like to live my life in a very like fluid and intuitive way. But at the moment, I'm very much focusing on implementing structure and structure into my life, just to balance out this more fluid way of living, like this kind of work that I'm doing here, like the way I'm living. Like I said, I'm traveling now, so I do need to implement structure in order to keep all of this contained. And I had a lot of resistance against that for a long time. And now I'm kind of rediscovering those energies, and I love it. I really love it because it grounds me and it gives me something to hold on to. And it guarantees that I can actually like bring forward what is important to me. So we do have at the bottom of the deck, we have the To Be Fair card. And this is, again, like a lot speaking about balance. Balancing out. And I've talked about it here. I'm just like wondering how this is tying in with the other two cards I spoke about, with the other energies. So, okay, so this is not just speaking about balance, but this actually has like very much an energy of the Justice card. No, not Justice. So yeah, sorry, I completely my mind was just blank here for a second. Yeah, so I'm talking about the Justice card. It always reminds me of the energy of the Justice card, and the Justice card is about not just balance, but to like seeing things for what they are, to get real, to really be honest with ourselves. So the thing is, like, when we are leaning too much into one polarity, we don't do that anymore. Because like we're missing out on information. This is bringing me back to the Wednesday reading, I think, where there was something about like if we're like too heavily leaning towards one side, we are missing out on information, and we cannot see like the whole truth. And so with this, like everything is like kind of turned on its head now, and it's new. So we need to rediscover. So when, like, for example, like we were used to speak with, like the way we communicated, we were used to doing that in a certain way. And suddenly, like, everything is different. So we have to relearn it. We have to relearn how people maybe react to us, or how we react to people. We have to relearn how maybe the universe is speaking with us. This can also change. Things we knew before, or that worked for us before, suddenly, like, they get a new meaning, or they are, like I said, turned on their head. And also with the home card. Seeing clearly, like, what does it actually mean to be home? What is home? Where do I belong? So these seem to be like the three major pillars that are emerging from this reset, really. The way, like the question about like, where do I belong? Belonging in general, what does it even mean to belong? Then the thing about like communication, relationships in general, and it's like relationship with like anything. I said it in another message as well, like what is the relationship with my life that I have, with my creative processes, as well as with people, to myself, like I said, to my life in general. And how do I communicate within that? How do I communicate with it? What kind of signals and messages am I sending out, and what kind of signals and messages am I getting back? And then the same thing, like the third pillar, is the wisdom and the knowledge I have. And where do I maybe lean a little bit too much in one or the other side, and I need to relearn that, and I need to reassess really and look at it and just be honest with myself and say, okay, I am having a bit of a too masculine, logical approach here. Maybe I need to focus more on how I'm feeling or what my intuition is telling me about this, or the other way around. Like maybe I'm leaning a little bit too much towards, oh, but this is how I feel, but does it really make sense? So this is like what you're being asked to do with this new beginning, with this reset that you got in your life. And it really feels like, so now you've got a blank slate. You can restart. And don't, like, just be careful to keep it real and not to fall back into old traps. Because simply because we are granted a new start, like we're doing something new, doesn't mean that we cannot fall back into old habits, you know? Like, also not to be paranoid, again, balanced approach, but yeah, just be aware that we can still fall into old traps. And I just want to note that this card is lying under it, like round and round. And again, like it's speaking about this so yeah, this is speaking to me about like the bigger movements of the universe, and very much like what they call like the wheel of samsara, or like the wheel of fortune, like those big movements that we are just like part of, and that we don't really have control over. Like we have control on like how we react to it. So yeah, like it seems, I said it doesn't have to be a huge cycle, but like if it's not a huge cycle that you've been clearing out, then you are probably preparing to do it, and this could like show up in like smaller ways for you already. There still is this one card lying here that I took out earlier just to show you the back, but I didn't put it back into the pile. So I am kind of feeling that it's important, and they're telling me to draw a few cards with it, and kind of like it's like something is about to be revealed. It's like building anticipation. And it seems like it needs to be explained a bit, like it needs some context. Like what is about to be revealed needs some context. This is why they're, okay. That one too? Yeah. Okay. So that's interesting. So this closing out of this huge cycle has to do with the Five of Coins energy. I'm saying that because it's in reverse. So it's speaking to me about, again, like we are kind of turning it on its head. And the Five of Coins energy is very much about scarcity, about the feeling of not having enough, not being enough. It's not sufficient. It can never be enough. And so there's like two things. Like one is like, yeah, it's also like it got reset. But there's also coming a little bit of a warning in here to not recreate it, to not let it grow again, but to, you know, like you pull out the weed, don't replant it. And with the Champion of Wands and the Revealer, there's again like this balancing aspect coming through of this is very much about movement and about passionate movement, moving forward, following our passion projects, following what we want. Really, yeah, it's about movement. Like I say, in the way we want, but it needs to be balanced out because this can become a very, very volatile energy. So you need to balance it out. And that is with the Revealer, which is the High Priestess, really. And that is a very still energy. It's like, don't forget to balance it out by taking a step back and again, make sure that you are on the right track here. And yeah, that this is like here with the Deep Knowing card. It very much speaks to me about like it's pretty much this. It's very much just like a related energy. And I was saying like earlier, I was speaking about the masculine energy and the Renaissance, the overemphasis of the masculine energy, and I said it could go both ways. Although like with the emphasis here again on the more intuitive energy, it feels to me like that there might be a bit of an overemphasis on the more masculine side in general, like more this like go and moving energy. And okay, so like yeah, we are in this year of the fire horse. So there is a very fiery energy. So we do need to balance it out, like on a collective level. It's not just about personally, like we all need to keep our balance a bit with all this fire energy that is present. And that means that we need to sometimes just like step back, tune in, just make sure that we are on the right track. And yeah. So what is that card? All right, guys, this is beautiful. This is just so beautiful. And I'm lying it on top of that card because we don't need that anymore. It's time to go. It's time to go, loves. Can't make that shit up, really. I love it. I love it when those things are happening. It's time to go. And this card also came out over and over again over the last few weeks, few readings. And it usually was like in kind of like still like a stalled energy, like reversed and yeah, it's still like the suspension energy. And now it's just here. Loud and clear. There's not much to add. Only there's one last card, and it slid out of the deck earlier when I pulled the other ones. Like almost like, hi, I'm also here. I also want to be read. Please notice me. But I don't really belong with the other ones, so I put it aside. And it's the Defender, which is the Emperor. In this deck, it always speaks to me about, for one, really taking up space and like being rooted in our own energy, in our own existence. But at the same time, because it has the emphasis on this Defender, the protection aspect here, right now it's very much speaking to me about you are protected. If you allow us, we protect you. And this is your guides speaking here, or source, or whatever way of conceptualizing you do have when it comes to like the divine. But yeah, so you are protected in this, and you are guided if you allow it to be. What a beautiful energy. What an amazing reading. All right, my loves. Yeah, that seems like a very good place to start. Stop. To start. It seems like a good way. Yep, it seems like a very good place to start. Second that, but it's a good place to stop in this reading. I hope it helped. I hope you benefited from it. If you did, I would love to hear from you. Or maybe if you leave a comment. Well, I just said that. If you leave a like or a subscription, you would really, really help me out. And the channel helps me and the channel grow so that other people also can find those messages and benefit from them. All right. With that, I wish you all the best with that. I love you, and I'm looking forward to hopefully seeing you in the next video. Until then, take care.